Welcome back to another episode of Big Classic Podcast. This is my man, Walter Sellers.
Classic.
I'm Fred Biggie Smalls.
Biggie.
That's Rashad. Scott in the background.
With some kind of beads around his neck.
Yes. Looks like that shit from...
spiritual beads?
Spiritual beads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that part from American Pie where Stifler's whose mom was...
Stifler's mom?
The
dog. That was his mom. The Jewish lady. She was
yes. His beads are so good. They were anal beads. But hope you guys had a good week. We had a great week. Walter, how are you?
Fantastic, bro.
Fantastic.
Had a good weekend. Mother's Day weekend yesterday.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, dog.
My mom was like, I want a barbecue. She was like, I want a barbecue. I was like, barbecue. So my dad, he passed 2 years ago, so he would barbecue.
Right.
But, I'm not making burgers and steaks.
Right.
I got shrimp, lobster tail,
salmon.
That
sounds good.
And some chicken on a stick.
Yeah.
That's what we had. Wasn't nothing the craziness. It is easy to eat clean, even when it's a barbecue.
Yeah, well, I ate exactly what the technician put on the menu for me, which is the same 10 ounces of chicken, the same 8 ounces of steak, 10 ounces of chicken, and the same thing I always have. But what I did do is we had brunch for my mom, and we went to Janine's family's house, and they had a big spread of food, everything, and I came home after that, and I did my cardio, 45 minutes of cardio, because we are locked in, getting ready for this Masters O. What's crazy is everything I was nervous about going into the prep was, did I still have the ability to focus on the diet the way I used to? Did I still have the ability to get up and want to train and do cardio and be meticulous about everything like I used to be? And it has not been a problem. I've actually found it very easy that I'm training with purpose again to do all that good stuff. So
wow,
it's it didn't bother me. All the food yesterday, and we were at. it was a hectic weekend all weekend, and even eating the cold food now isn't bothering me like I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, really stressing about am I going to be okay? But I went to Pittsburgh. We had Ann compete,
right?
Which she got amazing feedback.
She came in 7th or something out of 15, right?
She came in 7th out of 18.
18,
and,
okay.
She was clear standout in the second call out. I wish they had given her an opportunity to pose against this is Ann Gruber, IFBB Pro on Instagram. If you can check the handle out right here. But she had amazing improvement to her shape.
Mm-hmm.
Her quad sweep was greatly improved. We got to still do more, but it was greatly improved over last year's version of her. Much thicker up top, a lot, 10% leaner. But she got great feedback from the head judge. The head judge was like, "You do not need to be any leaner.
That's good.
Your leanness was good. Your hardness was perfect." And that's good for me as a coach because here's the thing: sometimes with the female athletes, they stress about gaining too much fat in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, her and I got shredded for this show in 12 weeks.
Wow.
Because she had a hard time in the beginning getting focused, and in 12-week period, we ripped her all the way down to her best conditioning yet. And so that was good. That was a very positive, some real positive feedback. And so we're gonna do the New York Pro this weekend.
Really?
Yeah,
back
to back, which I feel is going to be. I really feel strongly we're getting that top 5 because I believe 2 of the girls that beat her last week wasn't based on the physique, more based on the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to work on that and try and clean that up, because a lot of times when you're doing shows, what people forget is these judges sees hundreds of bodies.
Yep.
Hundreds of bodies. So how do you stand out? Because at the pro level, 80% of them are going to be super ripped. 80% of them are going to have good symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you stand out? Like the one girl was pretty soft that placed above her, but she was memorable. So if you got a lineup of 18 girls on stage that all have muscle,
Mm-hmm.
at local shows in the NPC, you'll usually have 3 or 4 standouts and everybody else, right?
Right.
In the whole show,
Right.
all categories, right? You'll have a couple superstars and you're like, wow, completely memorable. But when you have Miss Olympia up there in Italia, right, the women's physique, Miss Olympia, and she comes out, then the girl took second. She was closely muscled to her in terms of muscle. Ann has a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
Ann was peeled. But not quite as much muscle as that yet.
Right.
So how do you make yourself stand out so that the judges go, I remember that girl? So and that's where the presentation comes in place. So I'm really excited. We got because we weren't even supposed to do that show. It was really supposed to be Puerto Rico and New York, but they canceled Puerto Rico, so we wanted another opportunity. But so I'm really excited. I think with some presentation changes, we're gonna look very good this week, and I look forward to our first call out happening this weekend. So, but all in all, it was a good weekend, and we got to catch up with Nick Walker, Derek Lunsford. Derek Lunsford and I actually had a good conversation. Lloyd from the Arnold Committee. He's the director now. Lloyd, what's Lloyd's last? Davis, I believe. He had the entire. He's been on the Arnold Committee for 30 plus years. Now he's actually the director, and he's always looked out for me. Always, when they were bringing back the Best Poser Award, he called me personally and telling me, "Look, I really want you to do the show. We're bringing back the Best Poser Award," and. So I was networking with him a little bit and talking about, let's see how this Masters Olympia goes, because I'm having fun again. I don't know. I might come back on here next week and say my hip blew out, but right now I'm having fun.
We're not going to put that to the verse.
Nah, I feel really good. I'm getting, and I worked with Susan Brown. You guys need to check her out if you have not met. I don't know if you've been massaged by this lady or not, but worth it. She dug into my calves and my tibia anteriors today, and she dug into my front delt, my pec, that torn pec, and got in there deep, man, and my adductors. And what I found is that if I keep my adductors loose, and my rectus femoris loose, the front of the thighs loose, then my hips don't bother me. Right, because I don't get that pulling. So she's been, she's been doing that. It's been great. But she got dug into my feet today. That's the worst freaking pain, man.
Bro, I saw her last week. She did my Achilles.
Yeah, God. Didn't it feel like someone was burning it with a match? It felt like somebody had a match.
You get bladed when she does it?
No,
she's her hands.
Really?
Bro, she is so strong. You gotta go. She is so strong. I've worked with Hunter Labrada's massage therapist, and he's great. I forget his name, but he's really good.
I go to the Chinese. It's a Chinese one right here in Hockessin that I go to.
Yeah.
They do it. I get bladed when I get closer to
So they're doing the Grastons and stuff, yeah.
I swear by
Susan I've had Dr. Mayday work on me. He's excellent with the Graston's technique, and if you guys haven't seen that video, it's if you like what episode 20 something.
That was just a single one-off video. I think we did 2018.
This no, it was 20. I was after I tore it back, so it had to be 2019.
You tore it in 2018.
Oh yeah. So it was 2018, right? Yeah, me getting that Graston's therapy. Definitely check that out because it's brutal. But Susan, she's such a geek when it comes to anatomy and biomechanics and kinesiology, and so most massage therapists know how to perform the actions. They know the interactions and the tie-ins, but she knows it at such a level that you're like, because she understands how the body connects meridian-wise, and So I sent a guy to her, and he went to 2 other massage therapists that I also recommend that are good. And he's like, it feels a little better, but it still bothered me. Talking about here, in his forearm. He went to Susan, 1 treatment. She worked on his rear delt and his upper tricep, and he was like, holy shit, it doesn't feel. And she explained to him why that connection was causing that, and he was just like, I've been to 2 other massage therapists that are licensed massage therapists, good therapists that work with a good amount of people, and no one's mentioned this. So, you know, it's like when I found her when I did the Arnold in 2013, and we worked then because I was having a hard time getting as much out of my lats that I was like, there's no way I had more lat width last year.
Right.
So she got me to open up, and then she was like, wow, what a difference. You know, after 2 treatments, like, what a difference. So I highly recommend Susan Brown. She's amazing. I think her company's called Healing Touch. Is that Healing Touch, right?
Healing Arts.
Healing Arts up in off Concord Pike in 202 if you're in the Delaware area. And if you're anywhere within a 2-hour area, make your reservation and go. She's about 4 to 5 weeks out to get booked, but she is worth it. Absolutely worth it. So, yeah, man. So I'm back in the groove, boy.
I do some my chiropractor once a week. I do cryotherapy 3 times a week.
Yeah, that cryotherapy is the truth.
That's you know, the massage therapist. I try to save it until I get about 4 weeks out.
Right.
Because that's when I really need it. Because you know, no fat outside.
Right.
You know, no joints and stuff. Got to really get them.
Yeah, because everything's tighter. You
Exactly.
can loosen up. Yeah. Well, for me, I found that
Get extra miles on you don't have, bro.
I do have quite a few extra miles, but I don't know if that's true, right? Because I don't remember going through no car wrecks like you did. Like, I mean, you coming over the middle and somebody blasts you in those pads. That's like a car wreck, boy. That's crazy. So.
The hardest I ever got hit, I was talking trash to the wrong middle linebacker, and I took the fake dive. It was just a reverse, and got the ball in the backfield, looked up, saw the middle linebacker get sucked in, looked out. Cornerback was nowhere near, took a move, made a dash straight towards the free safety. Yeah. The time it took me to take a shake and turn.
Boom. Now, when you got hit like that, was it discombobulation, like, where am I? Was it all the air knocked out of you? Or did you get hit so hard that you bounced up and then realized you got hit till you got back to the huddle?
No, this guy, he hit me chest. So when I took the move and turned chest, he hit me chest to chest. Boom. But he wasn't trying to take me down. So when I made the move, it was on the outside hash mark. So that's why I was making a cut, because the tight end had pushed out the cornerback. So when I took and made the cut in, I was supposed to have daylight because I saw the middle linebacker get sucked in to the fake dive.
Right.
And he came, and when he hit me chest to chest, it wasn't to the ground, it was to the bleachers and to the the little bench on the side of the field, knocking over the water table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still gained 9 yards, but yeah, I paid the price.
Paid the price
I
for
paid
it.
the price.
You
Those are hard 9 yards. Had to take 2 downs off.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, you obviously played at a completely different level than I played, but I remember getting hit so hard because the coach threw the ball up. He's like, all right, whoever catches it, catch the ball, make a move, and try and go. But when he threw it up, the kid's name was Charlie Dunbar. Coach threw the ball up, and I'm waiting for it to come down. He said, Charlie, run him over. As soon as I caught the ball, man, he was there.
It was a wrap.
It was supposed to be, you're 10 yards apart, catch the ball, and then you make a
10
move.
seconds to make a move.
He make a move, and he's got to try and tackle.
Right.
I caught that ball, and he was like, run
It
him
was
over.
too late.
He was right there as soon as I caught it. And he blasted me, and I had hit so hard, I got up. I was like, I'm cool. Got back to the huddle. I was like, damn.
You was woozy.
Woozy, man. Yeah. And back then, they wasn't doing no concussion.
Wasn't no
protocol.
concussion.
Shake that shit off.
No
Let's go,
concussion
Freddie.
protocol. That's right.
Shake it off. Let's go. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't even know how many concussions I probably had like
We
5.
both for that. Listen,
You probably had more than that.
bro. The crazy thing about football, the football helmet didn't change for like 45 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
That's crazy. 45 years. All technology and all the shit. And football helmet stayed the same for like 45 years.
Right.
That's crazy. A little bit of cushion. That's it.
Yeah, they
Bells getting run left
completely
and right.
different
Now they're
though,
different.
right?
Now, yeah. Different type
Now
of
they
composites.
dissipate
and stuff.
the
impact.
for impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like cars do, like they
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
As close to it as they can.
Uh huh.
As close to it as they can.
Yeah, that's pretty. crazy with technology. Technology, how sports has advanced throughout the years.
Mhm.
And you look at bodybuilding now, and you remember, I remember when I would see open bodybuilders when I was coming up, early 2000s. I would say, God, they're huge, but no one cared about how cut they were because everybody was kind of sloppy, but they were just so fucking big.
I don't know if sloppy is the right word.
Definitely the right word. I seen Lee Priest, love Lee Priest, but I seen Lee Priest guest pose. That shit was sloppy.
Guest pose is not the same as on the stage.
I'm not talking about competing.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about guest posing.
Oh, off season.
I'm talking about off-season guest
Okay.
posing.
Oh yeah, nobody stayed tight because the philosophy was you got to eat more.
Right. So now
Those
you
pictures
see,
of Jay Cutler, man.
but you see guys now,
They stay shredded year
and
round.
they're in shape all
Like
the time.
Nick Walker and Derek Lunsford at the daggone guest posing this weekend.
Yeah, I saw Nick in person in the audience, and he's like, "Freddie, man, you're getting huge again." I'm like, "Stop playing me, Nick. Look at you, your big ass. You look crazy right now.
Yeah, he did.
Crazy. Hunter looked crazy. Sean Claridia, man, I'm looking at this cat.
Wait,
I'm like,
212 make me feel
I
little.
was
I was like,
you look
jeez.
fucking sick, right? And then I seen,
You saw my boy Samson.
I didn't get a chance to talk
Oh.
to Samson. Samson walked in front of me,
Samson's a beast.
and he looked crazy. But it's funny because he, he's a little taller. When he had his clothes on, he looked, obviously, all looked crazy big. But he didn't look like a monster, but when he posed, he looked like a monster.
When he drops around and hits that.
I know you're a big fan of his.
That's what he right now he's my favorite bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But, I don't
So what makes you like him more than Andrew Jack?
his story, bro. His story. He he definitely
Let's leave it down there. Let me
it's,
see.
okay. We're not let's gonna go fast. He definitely
Damn,
came
bro,
up.
I'm trying to be discreet on the podcast.
It'll be alright, man. He's gonna put a video up anyway, so it'll be alright. He to me, him starting off, he was a soccer player.
Right.
And he went from weighing 195 pounds
Yeah.
to now 320 pounds in the off season.
Yeah, you know who else was a soccer player? Rest in peace, Sean Roden was a soccer
he's
player.
from
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Yeah. Well, isn't Samson? Oh, he's from England, right?
England, yeah.
Same
Nigerian.
thing, yeah.
But he's a professional soccer player.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he's a professional
Oh.
footballer. And then, I like Big Ramy, but I like Samson. Nothing against Andrew Jack, because I think Andrew Jack is going to come in second this year. I think Samson's going to win. I think Derek's going to be in third.
That's a big statement.
Listen,
Derek looked crazy. So where Nick gonna be?
top five. You can't outrun the shape, bro. I mean, he looks like a refrigerator, and
Oh.
Nick is a phenomenal bodybuilder, obviously. But your genetics are your genetics.
Right.
You got two guys that are 6 feet tall and dumb aesthetic.
Right.
Right. You can't coach the aesthetics.
No, I mean, it is what it is. Right?
It's not a knock against you. It just is what it is.
Right.
That is the reason.
But he needs Big Ramy to win again so he can.
And that won't happen.
Yeah. So
It's
too early for me to say anything because here's the thing. When Nick tried to streamline it for the Arnold, I was like, that's not the game. But when he came in big and full, it kind of reminds me of like Jay Cutler never had the shape of Dexter Jackson.
right.
But when Jay was in crazy shape,
It's
he
different.
was so much bigger.
But
And so Samson's that big though.
Samson's that big and that tall and that aesthetic.
Right. So I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is apples to oranges, and it depends on who's on stage with them.
Well, when you look at the dynamic of how bodybuilding is going, in my opinion,
Right.
Samson, Andrew, Raphael Brendel, even Michael Crizo.
Well, see, I think Hunter is going to shut a lot of people up this year because he's very aesthetic.
But again,
If you're talking about Michael Chris, I think
what's-
Hunter is better than him.
so how do you compare Samson, Andrew, Jackson, Hunter? How do you compare them? If they're
Well-
exactly the same, conditioning
Now, see,
wise,
I
shape
think-
wise, who's
I
gonna
think
win?
Andrew Jack's physique is a lot
It's
prettier.
beautiful. They call it Mona Lisa.
It's
He's
pretty-
the Mona Lisa,
It's
bro.
prettier than
Sure.
Even Samson.
And if he gets that thickness, when he turns it to the side chest thickness, bro, it's a wrap. He won.
Yeah.
It's over. And he's for 5 years. It's over. Because there's nobody in the pipeline.
I'm anxious to see what they're going to do with Andrew Jack this year and how he's going to come out. I feel like had he been a little fuller at the Arnold, he would have given everybody a better run for the money.
So
I feel like his lines are just.
I'm gonna give you my dark horse. I'm gonna give you my dark horse.
Cool.
You ready? Don't fall out your chair. Your new teammate, Sergio. It's my dark horse this year, bro.
So Sergio looks crazy right now.
Bruh.
All his Instagram. All his Instagram posts, he looks crazy.
He looks nutty.
He does, but here's what you're not seeing, and this is my only, not knock. My only thing with his physique is his waist is a lot thicker than than any of the Samsons or Andrew Jacks, and his dimensions don't flow as well as even Nick Walker.
Really?
Like if you go and look at his stage stuff now. He's a monster right now.
That's what I'm saying. He's 295 right now.
He's a monster.
Healed.
And he's tight.
And he's got Chris Cito as his coach.
He's always at Chris, though, right?
Really?
So, yeah. Like
I thought this was his first year with him.
No, he turned pro with Chris.
Okay.
And because Sergey's never lost for words, and when he turned pro, he made sure everybody knew. George didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and Chris got it.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Unfortunately, but. So I feel like when I look at Sergio, he's got an element of aesthetics, but his waist was a little thick. Now, Nick's brought his waist in dramatically since he turned pro. So maybe
looks like it's brought in dramatically.
Well, like I know you can. Like I brought in Ann's dramatically since she started.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Since she started. Like she's carrying about 1.5 inches less than what she used to.
Wow.
Yeah. Like that waist trainer 8 hours a day. Spending more time where your belly's empty and not getting that far out of shape.
That makes a difference.
Yeah, because you're not consuming crazy amounts of food all year. So and then also when people take growth, they typically put it in their midsection, all that stuff. And I found that just something as simple as putting it in your arms and putting it around your glutes and subcutaneous on your inner thighs, stuff like that, keeps it from your midsection growing. So
really, much or at all?
At all.
Really?
At all, yeah.
Wow.
So, and that's something I learned because I was like when I did Brazil and I made first call out dead center. One of the things they tried to say was my waist was starting to get a little thick, and. It was Ed Nunn, who had one of the smallest waists out there, came to me and was like, start putting it in your arms. And that made a huge difference for me. So,
okay.
And then, so I think he can bring the waist down considerably. I'm sure Chris has tricks for that. But what I can tell you is I've never thought his shape flowed as natural as, anywhere close to as natural as Samson or Andrew, and they're the big splash right now because, to me, they give you the same thing Classic gives you with a lot more size.
Well, I agree. It's a prettier structure.
Yeah, so, and that is great for bodybuilding.
That's what and that, to me, is the key, right? Is what direction is bodybuilding going? I think it's going to go more aesthetic, and I think that the big play is going to be adding 15 more pounds to Classic or a different ratio to Classic and making it all one all over.
So here's the question. If you add 15 more pounds to Classic.
That's what I'm saying, make it all one though.
Bodybuilding and Classic? I don't think it ever happened. And here's why. Right now, a guy who turns pro as a middleweight has a couple options. If he's super short, he can go 212. If he's a taller middleweight, he can still keep the lines, not have to push the supplements that hard, and go into Classic.
Right.
So it becomes a feeder pattern for a lot of guys that pro careers would have done nothing because they would have been stuck against the open because it only used to be open bodybuilding, right?
Right.
So you get a guy like A guy like Jose Raymond, who had a great career, top 5 Olympian multiple times, and in 212. A lot of fanfare, everything. Could you imagine if there was no open? I mean, if there was no 212?
That's what Arnold and Franco did, right?
They had a lighter weight and an upper weight, right? So they got rid of that. It hurt a lot of bodybuilding.
Really?
Like Jason Arndt is a good friend of mine, and he had an incredible physique. Even placed top 10 in open bodybuilding at a couple different shows. But if he had 212 when he was coming through, easily
Really?
would have been able to make a splash on the world scene at 212. You know, because he had a great physique, he just wasn't big enough in 10.
So you think that guys like Keon wouldn't have a chance?
Well, Keon's open now.
What is that?
He's going open. Have you seen him lately?
He weighs 220 pounds right now, bro. 220. There's a picture of him on the scale. He weighs 220, looking like that
He looks phenomenal.
at 220.
But here's the thing. Of course, he would have had a chance at Chicago Pro,
Right.
Orlando Pro.
Right.
Perfect example, Darren Charles. Used to call him the king of the $10,000 shows. He win them all day long. Gets to Olympia.
Not big.
And he got a great placing in 10th. But if you're considered a champion winning 3-4 shows a year, you're thinking you're going to go to Olympia and be a top 6 contender. But when he got against guys that were that much bigger, it washed him out.
Can't. Yeah.
Right? Because it doesn't matter how much condition you got.
Like Sean Arnold.
Muscle's still muscle.
Muscle still muscle.
Sam who?
Like Sean at the Arnold. Sean Clarita at the Arnold last week.
Yeah,
Right.
well, he's
he
maxed out his frame.
at 185 pounds.
Right.
And 5 feet.
So I
5
think
feet tall.
a couple things matter. Darren was a taller 5'10" and still trying to compete low 218s,
Too
220s.
skinny. Right.
So he needed to be fuller. Sean at 5'1" at 190 pounds, that's big as fuck.
Bruh. Understatement of the century.
That's huge. Huge. So, and the thing is, at that point, it's not about weight, it's about structure, stature, and how it all flows. Because his muscle bellies are so round and
They're
full.
perfect.
So,
If he was 6 feet tall,
he's
if
an
he was-
outlier, though.
If he was 5'10", he'd miss the Olympia.
He's Mr. Olympia in his category.
In his category, I'm saying if he was 5'10", he'd open Mr. Olympia with a $450,000 check. Right.
But his structure, though, is that of Ronnie Coleman anyway.
Yeah.
Right, like a miniature Ronnie Coleman. So, but he's pushing envelope heavy.
He is
Look
he's
like
been
that.
220 now.
Yeah, he's pushing
At
the food,
41 years old.
pushing the food, pushing.
It's a lot.
Yeah, he's doing what it takes to be the best, and to make that title untouchable. And
Keon's gonna make it a big run this year. Keon's gonna be second place this year. Unless he
I
wins.
mean, I would pray for the guy that he gets second. I like Keon a lot. I like his physique. His structure's beautiful.
Beautiful.
If he gets in second, then he's gonna probably be heir apparent, right?
There's nobody else.
I
right
mean,
now.
that guy who took second last year, I don't think was really. He didn't even. I don't even. They didn't really talk much about him.
At all.
And obviously, Kamal's passed.
He's retired. Yeah.
He's not retired. He's doing the Masters,
no,
but he's
retired
gonna
as
do.
far as
He's gonna do open
open.
shows, right?
Yeah. He's not dieting down anymore. Right.
Yeah, he said, "I'm not sacrificing all that to look to go on there, and then I lose the attributes that
They're good for me.
right, like
yeah.
he's losing his legs.
Like Breon.
Yeah, Breon's gonna be 212 now. Right?
I know.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting year, man.
This
Because
is a big year. Does he have to qualify for 212, or are they gonna give him a guest pass?
I think. Okay, so it depends on which person is leading the story, right? Because they gave Derek a special invite, yet they told Sean he had to win a show to compete in the Open.
Right.
But Derek.
In the year they gave Big Ramy, he won the whole damn thing.
Right. So I think it's a matter of what they want to see.
Right.
So I think Flex Lewis would have definitely got a guest pass to come in and do the Olympia. But I think
I'm surprised he didn't take advantage of that. Just one time.
I feel like it was more business, man. I feel like like when you're hungry. Like what's there to prove? Like I think he had some issues with injuries.
He had seven in a row.
He had the injuries.
Yeah, and he's winding up a baby.
And and I tell people all the time, like bodybuilding is one of those things. Like when you play high school sports, and your entire scholastic career is around sports, you'd never know what it's like to have freedom, right? You get off school, you go to practice, you get done practice, you got to usually get your homework done, and then boom, you might hang with your family a little bit, then you're back at school the next day. Kids that don't play sports, they get done at 3, it's like,
They're done.
I'm gonna go with my friends, I'm
Play
gonna go
video
to
games.
bed. Like you have freedom. If you never experienced that freedom, you don't even know what that is. So when you get to college, it's like, oh shit, all this time. Now, if you play sports, you still ain't got that time because you're at practice all the time. Meetings.
7 a.m., yeah.
Yep, right? You still don't have that freedom. But the average college kid is like, what do you mean you can't get your fucking work done? You have 6 classes a week. You should get your own work done, right?
Yeah.
But if you're an athlete, you're like
You got a
trying
lot.
to figure out how to get
Right.
it all in. And so same thing comes true. Like if I think Flex Lewis started trying to turn pro at like 20 years old. So when you're doing that, I mean, you don't know what it's like to have freedom in your diet. You don't know what it's like to have an option whether you're going to train or not.
Mm-hmm.
You just do these things because this is what it takes to win.
Right.
And what's ended up happening is now you give a man, because this happened to me, you give a man a year trying to overcome injury, another year trying to gain the muscle back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I start creating options for myself.
Right.
And now, if I'm Flex Lewis, I got a pocket full of money, I got a beautiful family, and I'm still getting deals all the time.
Yeah.
What's my why?
Yeah. It's a nice gym too. Jaguar is dope, bro.
2 locations.
Dope.
So what's his why?
Yeah. Where's the other one?
He's got one in Florida and then one in,
one in Florida.
Vegas. The
Okay.
original one was in Florida.
Okay.
Oh.
I like that. Never
That's the one he used to train with Dallas all the time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Carver.
That's the one with the wings on the wall.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I never been to that one because it used to be private.
We'll go there
built it
this
for
year.
itself. But I'm
go there this
down
year,
with that
we'll go
trip.
down.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down with that. But the one in Las Vegas is really nice.
Bro.
Really nice. I enjoyed that. So I trained there twice and it's nice.
I trained there for a whole week when I was
Yeah.
out there before. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Even something as simple like that, like going to train and training because I just want to look good and training because I'm ready for this show.
2 different
Much
things.
2 different things, yeah, right? So I think, again, you get out of that intensity and it's like, it's hard to get back in it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hard. And then he's got such expectation. Like, some of the publication stuff are saying, Fred can be a front runner, but realistically, they're looking at Heat A, which again I don't understand. I love Heat A, but I beat him many times. And they're looking at Kamal, who rightfully so, 212 champion, as being the front runners to win that title. So me, I'm over here in the dark, like keep thinking because I'm coming. But the expectation is Fred better come with a great routine. That's the expectation on me.
Yeah.
What is Fred going to do for the routine?
Yeah.
Right. That's the expectation. Because as soon as I saw people at the in Pittsburgh, they were all like, "Yo, what's that routine going to be like now? Can you still do the splits? Can you still do the jumps?"
Right.
Multiple people asked me
Well,
that. Right.
Andrew just splits now, so he stole your car when you get there with him this year.
It ain't the same. It ain't the same. Study my routine, and I take the audience on a story, and I bring them up, and they never come down. Everybody else is all over the place. It's choreography.
I told a great story.
Did you?
I did.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I did too.
I helped with that routine.
You did. I just made it look better.
Yeah, well, hey,
The links. And,
Yeah, the tallness, the leanness. Yeah, I feel
You look better.
Yeah, I'm short and stubby, Yeah, but
Dios mío.
but yeah, so it's yeah. So I'm
excited for
to
it.
see.
Your show day is on my birthday, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, that's
August
good karma.
26th.
That's good vibes. Good vibes. Yeah. So I'm excited to be over there, man, and I feel like Chris sent me an update. He's like, "You got a long way to go," and then 2 weeks removed, I'm down about 10 pounds, and he's like, looking better for sure, looking leaner, looking good. So he never says good, looking better. So it's what he says. So man of very few words, but you get the point. And he tells you, do this. And the thing I like about it is, I'm a guy that needs a lot of variety. So in my training, like, do the workout for 3 weeks and then I'm changing that shit up.
Yeah, I'm not that way.
You like the same, right? Consistency.
The reason it's consistent, I like consistency, is I like the tracking.
Yeah.
I like to every week add 2.5 to 5% every week, trying to move the needle, because like I'm good at doing the reps, but I'm also good at doing the reps and adding on a little more every time. I mean,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, you got to create that variable.
that for me, that's how I.
But for me,
You got to do this, and then.
well, so I hurt my shoulder
Right.
2 weeks ago. I was doing incline bench first, and I was trying to hit a little bit more, and I think I was like 365. I was trying to hit it for and on my 7th rep, I kind of felt it, but I didn't. And in the 8th one, anyway, like with the shoulder, that's soft tissue, so
Yep.
you can have it can be torn, which I've had it torn before, and if you can get through the initial pain of the first 5-10 minutes, you get going, and as long as you don't put in any crazy compromising positions, you can still do everything. You're gonna pay for that shit later. And when I got ready for nationals, 4 weeks I trained like that. Kept a sling on, took the sling off, and I trained. And I trained, and then after the train, biking in the sleeve, back on. So I did that all the way to the show.
Wow.
And that's the year I won my pro card. So I think it's all about how you can deal with the pain at that point. And then afterwards, I got my cortisol shot, gave it about 2 months rest, and then I never had a problem since. This is actually more the bicep tendon in the front of the shoulder. But I had it worked on the day by Susan, and when I went to train, I felt nothing. Now I'm stiffened up. It's later at night. Haven't moved it that much. I went and saw my son play basketball at night, and I'm like, I'm feeling that shit, So, but you got to figure we're so used to dealing with pain,
Exactly.
right? But what I was saying was, so I like to do the same workout for 3 weeks for that purpose, so I can push the weight. But I just feel like after that 3 weeks, my excitement to get in there, I want new shit.
Right.
I want a new exercise plan. I want to do something different. I don't want to do the same stuff. So, and we all know the body doesn't know what you're doing. Like, remember, bodybuilding, and this is a key point, bodybuilding is not performance training.
Right.
So it's important to continue to get better at the movements when you're powerlifting. It's important to get stronger and better at the movements that help your sport.
Right.
This is bodybuilding. All the angles, a lot of
Everything
different rep
matters.
ranges. Yeah, like, everything variable that's going to change as long as you go hard with it, take it to an involuntary stop in the movement, you're going to make some change.
That's that part. I believe in a lot. Two body parts I won't train by myself is I won't train chest and I won't train legs by myself for that reason.
Right.
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 Because if I get to that point where I'm failing on something, I need to make sure I'm not
Sure.
gonna die.
Sure.
It's but yeah, man, that's the.
Well, a lot of
the
like a
sport.
lot of bodybuilders don't train with that level of intensity. Though a lot of bodybuilders that have actually made decent gains.
Dexter Jackson.
Yeah.
He wasn't a big heavy lifter, according to him.
Well, I know Dexter, and at the end of his career, that year he thought he was going to win Olympia. 2016. Okay. 2015 he came out, and Dexter looked crazy. Took second at the Olympia. And you're like, holy shit.
That's Phil Heath here, right?
He's back. Yeah. Phil Heath won. So wait, was it 2014 or 2015?
18. So 2010 to 2018, Phil Heath won.
2081. But 2000, what year did he take second again? Because he had fallen off for a little bit. Then he got with George. George kind of revitalized his career.
Right.
And then he became a major contender again. So I want to say it was 2016. It was 2016 because we were in Africa together. Then he did New York, and everybody's like, if you can't, like his coach was like, if you're worried about these guys here, how are you going to win the Olympia? Right? So 2015 came out, he looked fucking nutty. Actually pushed Phil really hard, right? And I thought, damn, Dexter might win it. So he did the Olympia. So 2016 he came out, he's ready, man. He's like, he's gonna do it. And he hired Chris Cycle Lewis. The workouts they were doing were not easy.
Right.
He was pushing to failure. He was doing hardcore stuff, right? And he made considerable change to his physique. Where people, when he was training with Charles, he had gotten into a flow where they were training less weights, free weights, more machines, but they were still going to failure, right? So it wasn't that he wasn't going heavy. It's just that he wasn't doing a whole lot of things that can create injury for him.
Right.
Right. So, because the recovery
28,
factor.
yeah, 28 pro wins or something like that, right? Dexter Jackson, 28.
He's got
pro wins?
more than anyone else.
Yeah,
28.
28. Yeah, that's,
Might be 29 now. 28.
That's a lot.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
I'm over here with my one, happy as fuck. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's crazy. But when you look at it and you go, he trained like that and he has longevity. Longevity, but he still pushed to failure. It's just that the crazy stuff that you see like Ronnie doing, Branch doing, Johnny Jackson doing. And
They watching videos of those guys lift, bro.
You go, man, that technique's not good. But at the same time,
He's strong.
to see Johnny in person, to see Branch in person, you're like,
shake their hands. It's like granite.
yeah. Like Johnny's. I've guest posed his show before. I've hung out with him. He gave me some of the best fights I've ever gotten on a pro stage. Him and I have looked out for each other at shows, and the thing is, he's a great dude, and he's very impressive. So it don't matter what the fuck his training looked like. He's impressive.
It works.
It works, right? So you know why? Because he's doing the one fundamental thing that matters: train fucking hard. Train hard, and like push yourself to a level that your body's never been to before.
Yeah.
Whether it's partial reps or not, which I believe in full range of motion. But sometimes you watch them, you're like, I don't even know if that's a quarter rep. But whatever it is working for them.
It's working.
Is all that tension, and they're not doing much machines. They're all into free weights. Heavy ass dumbbells. So even when you pick that shit up, your body's working.
Yeah.
Nothing's stabilizing it for you.
Nope.
Yeah. So we had a watcher request. We talk about post-show nutrition. And even though we've hit this before, I think we need to revisit it because this
Talk about
person...
science about it more than just gaining 70 pounds in a week.
Yeah, I mean,
Why is it important to plan out what you're... Let's say we're not going to another show.
Yeah.
Why is it important to diet backwards out of a show back to a normal eating habit?
Well, I think for purpose of health, you want to minimize edema, right? You want to minimize stress on the heart. You want to minimize inflammation in your body. Your mental wellness is at stake too.
Sure.
Blood sugar levels, thyroid levels. You just beat the shit out of your body getting ready for a show.
Yeah.
And you want to maintain some resemblance of what you look like on stage, at least your shape, right? Like when I say that, for people that are doing shows this year, you'll be surprised for the first time. You'll be surprised. You literally will wake up in 4 days and it will look like you never dieted if you just eat whatever. So it's very important that that if you're really trying to be good, the best way to do it is enjoy that night, enjoy breakfast the next morning. After breakfast, go back into your menu, whatever that may be, either reverse diet or just keep carbs very low. And then that night have dinner with your family or whoever because you deserve it, right? And then as you go throughout the week, if you can keep the diet tight, meaning, I don't like to say reverse out of it because that seems very restrictive. And mentally, I think a lot of people have a hard time with that. What I like to say is keep the carbohydrates low. So I get up in the morning, oatmeal, grits, cream of rice, English muffins. I'll do some of that. And I won't be measuring. I'll do that. I'll do some eggs, egg whites, whatever I feel like having. Maybe a protein shake. Definitely yogurt. I do a lot of yogurt when I'm done because that good bacteria needs to get in your gut because you've been eating the same foods the whole time. So you need to add some good bacteria to your gut so you can get so your gut biome can get back to what it needs to be able to digest all foods, right? Add some fermented foods in there like sauerkraut, super dark chocolate, stuff like that. But sauerkraut is my go-to. Snack on it a little bit, and again, all for gut health because you've restricted yourself to the highest degree and eating those same 6 foods pretty much for a long time to get in great shape. Your metabolic system is in disarray because you just went from eating low calories and doing a shitload of cardio to most likely you're cutting your cardio almost to nothing or in half. And even when you do that, you're still not posing every day. You're not training like the way you were training because you're usually trying to give your joints a little break and stuff. And now your calories are elevated. So lots of fruits to detox. Lots of fruits. A lot of water. I try and keep the water 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons every day. A lot of pineapple, a lot of watermelon. Watermelon's great. Lots of veggies. Lots of veggies. And I keep the protein count 5-6 ounces. That's the only thing I'll measure. 5-6 ounces of protein, as much vegetables as I want, as much fruit as I want, yogurt. And the only complex carb I really have is in the morning. And if you do that for the 5 days afterwards, I promise you, if you do that for the 5 days afterwards, you'll get up on the following Saturday and be like, holy shit, I look shredded. And you'll feel good. You'll feel really good because you haven't put a surplus of nutrients in your body. You really haven't taken in much carbohydrate at all. So even if you were taking in steak every meal, 90% ground beef every meal, you're not doing a surplus of nutrients for energy, right? Like who overindulges on fruit? Like
a pound of cherries is what, like 230 calories, something like that.
Yeah, like who's going to overindulge on fruit? Like you will be in the bathroom if you overindulge in food. If you overindulge in censorship fruit, your tongue will look like you got polka dots on it. You know what I'm saying? So the natural foods kind of keep you eating no more than you should eat anyway. When I say fruit, I'm not talking about fruit cocktail. You're talking about whole pieces of fruit. It's very important.
Not in the cup.
But this is very important because I'll knock back the kids' cups of mandarin orange and I'll knock out 6
Suck
of them.
those out quick.
And I forget what I was doing. I'm not talking about fruit juice either. I'm talking about fruits. Whole fruits that you cut up, peel the skin, like stuff like that. And that's very important, So, but if you do that, most likely you'll eat 2 pieces per sitting. Because you're still portioning out in meals, right? You're still saying I'm gonna do every 2 to 3 hours. I don't even care if you necessarily keep cardio in, but I want you to do some exercise. And typically what I tell people, if you're not doing a show right away, well, there's 2 schools of thought, okay? So it's the one that the person is doing it as a real sport, and it's the person that's doing it, and I just want to do this as a hobby. Like, so you do a show, and you did it for marketing purposes. Take some good pictures, you're putting it out there, and then next year you might do another show. Versus the guy who's like, I want to be a fucking pro. Well, that school of thought is, all right, we're going to stick to that plan that I told you after the week, but then we're right back on the diet. And that diet, based on how you're feeling, are we feeling healthy still? Are you, let's take a natural athlete. Are you mentally good, feeling healthy, you still have that energy to train the way you need to train? Then we're going to try and take advantage of that rebound and start bumping your calories 10% up every week from where you were when you ended off. And in that 4th week, your calorie intake is up 40%. You're training like a fucking animal. You're going to gain a good 1-2 pounds of muscle in that time frame, which is big for a natural athlete.
Yeah.
And if we do the diet correctly, a nutrition plan correctly throughout the
next 3 months, you got
4 or 5 months. Like I don't believe that natural athletes should take a year off because you're not going to gain that much muscle anyway. I believe the closer you stay to contest prep, the easier it is to get lean and shredded for the show as a natural athlete. Now, when you're enhanced, it's like if you really need to put some size on, take a year off because you can continue to grow.
Yeah.
You can, the whole thing at that level is how fast can I make the protein synthesis happen, right? The rate of protein, how fast can I make it turn over so I can gain more muscle? And as soon as I make it turn over, I'm back in the gym training it again.
Right.
I'm training again, breaking it down again so that I can maintain and then continue to increase this muscle tissue, So that's a little different.
Yeah. Watching a lot of these guys talk about they're going to take a year off. One guy we didn't even talk about was Quentin Uriah, the Canadian. Another 340-pound guy,
Aesthetic.
6'1" and aesthetic as hell.
Works with Matt Jensen, right?
Yes,
so.
yep. Same guy as Nick Walker.
Yeah.
Listen.
He's good.
We're about to have 1, 2, 3 black guys, bro. It's about to be dope.
See, I feel like he's still got, like when I've seen his off-season shots, he's impressive. I met Quentin in Vegas when I was out there. Right. And I don't know why you're talking about 1, 2, 3 black guys in bodybuilding. That's happened many times. Talk about the 1, 2, 3.
6 feet tall.
Talk about
guys.
the 1, 2, 3 black guys that got drafted as quarterbacks in NFL. That's
Yeah.
that's the first.
That's never happened before.
That's the first. But anyway, back to bodybuilding. When I met him, he's a super nice guy, super huge, super
He's
wide.
young too, right? He's like 23, 24.
Yeah, he's in his 20s, early 20s. Super wide and very, very impressive. Again, I feel like he has some holes in the flow in his physique.
Really?
Not that he ain't gonna be great, but we're talking about the top 6 guys in the sport. And like Brandon Curry always had beautiful shape. Once he got to a point where he had freaky size and he could get everything to flow pretty good. Because Brandon's, they always say his legs need to get bigger, but the later Brandon since 2016, when he poses, like his sweeps look pretty good. Not nearly as impressive, but when he turns to the side, he's big.
Yeah.
Like his legs are big from the side. So he had to get all that balanced out. And so it's all about the flow. And the thing with Andrew Jack is he just flows so nice.
Beautiful, bro.
I think he flows better than Samson, to be honest with you.
He does.
So
His abs are the best abs on any human being in the history of the world.
It just looks like it goes, into his waist, out through his thighs.
It's like perfectly etched.
It's beautiful. Fucking beautiful. So, but I feel like Quentin Beastwell, that's the name that they'll be talking about because he's good, man. He's
It's
fucking
going to be,
good.
listen, these next few years are going to be exciting in bodybuilding if you haven't gotten
Yeah, I
into
think
the
so.
sport. It's going to be exciting.
I believe so, and I think Classic, man. I think Classic's doing great what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like Bumstead is impressive.
Obviously, he's working with Hani now, and it's.
Well, that's what I always say. Like, what does that guy know that nobody else, that no one else knows?
I was listening to an interview with him, right? And he called Chris, sent him the photos. He said, "Hold on it." He called Chris right back. Stop what you're eating. Don't eat the sweet potato. Eat 1/2 of this type of potato within the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm on the way. Honey booked me a flight. And he went.
Wow.
That's the difference. That's.
You really think so? Because Chad is amazing. Chad had Ramsey stay with him. It's the ability to see it.
And he lived in his house with him. Both vice versa. But watching that one interview, and he said, "Hold on, stop that. Don't eat that. Eat this. You got 30 minutes. Go get it." Those details.
Yeah. I mean, that's big.
I think, in watching his training sessions, on YouTube, just trying to learn different.
Sure. Absolutely.
And the way that he activates the muscles is similar to what I see in Charles Glass, just a little bit more technical than Charles Glass. Maybe Charles Glass doesn't know all the exact muscles for what they call, but he knows where you need to do this, so twist your hand this way. And I see Hani doing the same thing, except he knows exactly it's the brachialis, this to this, and connect it this way and do it. So he does all that stuff.
Yeah, it's kinesiology and it's
kinesiology.
biomechanics or
Yeah.
not biomechanics. His knowledge of anatomy might be a little more vast.
Exactly, but I can't say there's a difference between those two, except he does believe in lifting heavy weights, not just on machines.
Right.
You lifting weights if you working out a Hani Rambo.
Yeah, Hani's. I mean, God, I remember when Hani was still big time, but not as big time as he is now.
Yeah.
When he was backstage with me and this guy Mark Alvisi. Mark Alvisi was, we were sponsored by Muscleology at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So we did some traveling together, and Mark had a great physique. And the year he worked with Hani had him so peeled. It was just stupid how peeled he was. He was just like, it's crazy. And I remember Hani was like telling him to do stuff backstage. I looked at George like, why is he telling him to do that? He's like, that's not important. And it was, though.
Obviously it was.
It was because Mark ended up going out and winning the overall that night. And I got third in the heavies. And not that it made a difference, that part, but the point is, Hani was paying attention to even
Every small detail.
Stand in front of the fan. I'm like, why does he stand in front of the fan? Right? Obviously, now you want to keep the fluid inside the cell, not outside the cell. You get hot, it changes how your body's looking, right? Just like if you're too cold, it changes how your body's looking. But you definitely don't want to be hot and start sweating, right?
Right.
At that time, I was like, why is he doing that? And then Hani's like, all right, we're not going to do that. Let's do the steak instead. And I remember Mark was like, I don't want to fucking eat plain ass steak. He was like, got a piece of steak, start eating it. And Mark's like, fine. So like, just the small nuances, and I realized that makes a difference. When I was training Eddie, the thing is, you have to for those little things to really matter. You're in shape. You're really in shape. So that's the first step. It's get in fucking shape. Like when I had Eddie, it's like he's so lean that any little change I make, I'm gonna immediately see it.
Hyper responder, right?
Right. Like it's because he doesn't have any body fat on him. So his body is going to react to everything quicker, and you're going to see it because even a little bit of fluid, you're going to see it. So I watch that he eats. An hour later, I'm looking at him. Eats again. An hour later, I'm looking at him. And we're looking at every meal like, is this working, not working?
Mm-hmm.
Because just as fast as it change one way, you can get it back the other way. And it's kind of fascinating to see when a person's in that kind of conditioning, how you can see how everything's happening. I remember George looked at me one time, it's like, okay, stop the carbs, you're starting to spill. I'm like, how can you fucking tell? He's like, I can see it in your skin, you're starting to spill. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely paying attention to the details and being able to do that with a large number of people.
That's the crazy part.
And I don't think
females and males.
Yeah, I don't think it's any harder to train one than the other if you understand the hormones and understand, that what I find with females is more than males, it's like when I pull the effort back a little bit, sometimes I can get a bigger response from the females, and then I throw it back in, and they just keep chugging. With guys, I don't feel like we overtrain quite as easily. Mm-hmm. I feel like.
Well, duh.
No, I don't mean like just testosterone. Right? I don't mean like that. Like what I'm saying is, I feel like when females train, they respond faster when it's good, but they can react just as fast the opposite way. Right. So, when I'm getting somebody ready for a show and we're doing muffins every week and I'm watching them after we do it, I'm looking. It's like, this is a female, and I'm looking at them. I'm going, it's working. And all of a sudden, it didn't work. I'm like, okay, that went bad.
So what changed?
But when I changed it to change it off of you, pull the muffin out. Next day, you look totally different. You look fine.
Yeah.
Change it off her. It takes a few days to make that change back to what she was. So, because the females, just like they put on muscle a little easier, because retain muscle easier. Sorry, not put it on. Retain muscle when they're dieting easier. because the nitrogen retention ratio is higher just from being a female. They also can react negatively a little faster, is what I'm saying. But yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, it's good. But
So reverse diet the right way, people. That's called the transition segue. Just kidding.
no, I mean, we kind of got off the beaten path.
Yeah.
But it's all in there, and the main thing is you just can't. You got to be disciplined. Simple notes are this: you get done the diet, you get done the show, enjoy that night, enjoy the next morning, and then begin to start building back into your
Normal,
regimen.
right.
Don't go from doing double 60 cardios a day or double 30 cardios a day, even 30 minutes a day, and do nothing. You got to continue to be active. You got to continue to do a little cardio, and if you're not going to do cardio, you got to at least lift.
That's right.
Right. So I know we're so burnt out sometimes that we don't want to do anything, but it doesn't have to be hard. You just got to keep the body moving. Keep the body moving. And remember, typically, if you dieted down right, you just had 2 to 3 days of crazy amounts of carbohydrates. So your metabolism is on 100. So if you can just stay good for a week, at that
You'll be
point,
amazed.
you can get away with almost anything. You can eat a good, clean program and still have a cheat meal a day and still stay lean.
True story.
So
I mean, I'm 226 pounds this morning. I competed at 209, 211 in December, and I've been eating.
I mean, what's that, 23 pounds or something like that? But
Not even.
209 to 226?
Not even 20 pounds, bro.
Yeah, you're right. That's 17.
Yeah.
17 pounds. That's
And
really
9 pounds of that is water.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good. Yeah, it took me guest posing and doing a lot of appearances to get that science down, to where I was able to stay within
striking
range.
distance.
Yeah,
Right.
like I was typically 20 pounds the next day.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean my body's
That's a lot,
meant
bro.
to be fat though. So I was 20 pounds the next day, and then typically by the end of the week I was only up maybe 15, and but I would still look good enough to guest pose, even 20, 25 pounds out. But yeah, I try and tell people, females try and stay within 10 to 15 pounds, guys 20, 25 pounds, and you'd be straight. You'd be straight. So.
I can't go back up because I can't wear my clothes out, throw everything away. So
Shit.
I'm not buying no more clothes. So that ain't gonna happen.
My buddy had a wardrobe for dieting. He had a wardrobe for off season. Right. So he had it covered. He had it covered because he was always like, I know them to be two different sizes, especially if you're competing all the time.
Sure.
Two different sizes, and when it gets hard is when you're competing year round and you're just, like, should I throw these clothes away? Should I keep these clothes? It's like, nah, you coming back up when you're
You're
done.
cold, bro. That's something people don't know about is how cold you get when you're close to a show. Even in the summertime.
Yeah.
The Olympia last year, it was so bad. It was so cold backstage.
It was cold out there.
And we were sitting backstage for hours. What kind of a negative effect would that have on bodies? Just say that for another show, but it's the what you need in your bag backstage.
That's a great point. Yeah. What you
Stuff
need.
I did. I remember my first show I did in 2018.
Yeah.
I was back in the back with some rice cakes, and that was it.
Right.
Because I didn't know.
Yeah, you probably sitting back there in your underwear and rice cakes, like,
But
I'm ready to go.
Freezing my ass off. Had some sweatpants and
Definitely bring your sweatsuit.
yeah.
Definitely bring your sweatsuit.
Now I got my little custom little robe and stuff. Now I got it down. Now I'm ready now. But then
Now you're back there looking like a Muhammad Ali and shit. That's cool. Yeah, and real quick, someone had asked a question like, should bodybuilders spend more time worrying about the diet, worrying about cardio, worrying about lifting heavy? And the answer is it depends. It depends. Like, I have some clients that I don't even let them touch cardio because they can't gain weight and they're always pretty lean. I have some clients that are doing a shitload of cardio year round because they look better eating more food, but if they eat more food without the cardio, they're gaining too much fat.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then you have other clients that, you know, lifting heavy is a better way to get the weight off because they get too stringy when they're doing a lot of cardio.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to expend more calories, and just what we're doing. And I don't want to cut the food anymore, so we're going to lift twice a day. Like everything depends on the variable we're trying to, or the goal we're trying to achieve, the person doing it, and the variable that's there, you know, for them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Everybody's different because everybody is different. So, right, everybody, 2 words, because everybody is different. You know, so it's important that when your coach puts you on a plan, stick to that plan.
yeah,
Because
like
your
even
coach, he or she knows what they're doing because they've been working with you. They know other bodies and how your body is responding. May be different, but it probably reminds them of somebody they had 2 years ago. Okay, this reminds me of that. Let me put this in place to set it up. It gets you better results. You know, flip-flopping between plans or between ideas, changing your regimen, that shit's dumb.
yeah,
You ain't got to think about it. Let your coach think about it.
you're just making it harder on yourself because
Yeah.
the thing is like, and this is it right here. Even if I make the wrong change to the variable,
Mm-hmm.
I will know based on your changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I can switch it and make a different change.
Right.
But if you're adjusting it in any way, shape, or form, when I make a change on that variable again, I'm making the wrong change.
Exactly.
So you have to
Stick
stick
plan.
to it. It doesn't matter how hard it is. Stick to it. Talk to your coach. Communicate. It's really hard. This is making me feel like this. You know, like I have a client that's having a very hard time.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I look at her and I go, I pull her aside and I say, listen, it doesn't matter that this is harder for you than some other people. None of that
Mhm.
matters. What matters is I know you can do it. However, maybe we're trying to push too hard for this date.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move it back a little bit.
Always a show.
And let's move it back because trying to kill you for this date and you're calling me up telling me how hard it is all the time, it takes you out of the right mental space we need to create the
Mhm.
change we want, right? So the best thing we can do is let's just push it out a little bit. You know, and these are hard conversations to have because immediately the client's like, I was looking forward to eating.
Right.
You know,
Or
but
that you don't believe in me.
yeah, I've had that a few times, but I make it very clear. Like, it has nothing to do with whether I believe in you. It's the idea is this. If a person has the potential to win,
Mm-hmm.
then why let them get on stage until they're ready, they're in shape?
So
enough?
they're ready to win.
Right, so that's what it's about. But
I think that's an important thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration. You know, that even ties into your post-show meals. It ties into your everything that you're doing. Once you've hired a coach or a trainer to help you achieve a specific goal, whether it's on the stage, whether it's a wedding dress, whether it's a whatever, stick to the plan that your coach gives you.
yeah,
You know, jumping back and forth on different plans or ideas doesn't do any good. I'm gonna tell you, you know, one of the things that's frustrating, at least for me as a coach, is I saw this on the internet. I don't care what you saw on the internet.
yeah. Facts.
You know, I'll listen, but I gave you what I gave you for a reason.
yeah,
You know, this isn't. I'm not guessing. I'm not just saying, hey, eat this. No, I look at the data that you gave me. I look at the medicines that you're on. I want to make sure all the foods that I give you don't interact with the drugs that you're on. Make sure the type of injuries you may have or may not had over the past 50 years of your life aren't going to impact exercises. Now let's go execute.
yeah, yeah.
1% a week. That's it.
Yeah.
We get 1% a week, we win.
No, I mean that's great. That's great. Great words of wisdom there from you. I feel good about it. We good?
Yeah.
All right. Check itsrealbig.com out. Make sure you're doing that. Every athlete I have using the Big Sports brand, they love it. They feel a difference. Especially the RMR while you're training, whether you're an endurance athlete or a strength athlete, it's an awesome product. Shred them. Summer's just about here, but it's not too late to still be in shape by July. So let's get it. And there's still time to join our contest.
Nope.
Everybody's in is in.
Everyone is in it in.
Ah, damn. Well, we still can get on It's Real Big, grab a bottle of Shred 'em and a bottle of RMR. Make your workouts better and help your body's metabolism get rid of that fat for the rest of the summer. So You guys have a good week. We'll see you next week. Remember, like and subscribe to the channel. But most important, leave those comments so that we can so we make sure we're talking about what you want to hear. You know, and it can be the silliest thing to the most intricate thing. No bad questions. Just drop a comment on the bottom so we can know that we're saying what you want to say, because we got some faithful listeners. That's exciting. But we want to make sure we're talking about what you guys want to hear.
And we're looking up for new guests all the time. We may have another new big name guest like Andrew Shaw we had just last week. We may have some other ones. So be on the lookout for our special guests, whether live in person or even via the web. So we're looking forward to hearing from what you want to see, who you want to hear from, and see if we can make it happen.
Cool. Positive mindset this week. Remember your why. Get it done. Peace.
Peace.